Coming to you from inside the House of Masks today, getting ready for Palefest 3D with this guy, AJ Good. More details in just a moment after this from Classic Brands.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Last year, when we talked about Palefest, we were up in our studio at the Litter Media Loft, but I like being in the atmosphere that you have here.
It just makes sense.
It does.
It's the season for it. The event is all about it. And you get to be closer to me.
Precisely. I like it.
Yeah, hopefully this time you don't make fun of how I look. Every year, Dan's in here saying I'm weird looking, and I get all dressed up for you, and so whatever.
Only for those who are not accepting of what you look on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, I look pretty. I take this off, and it's identical.
It's amazing. It really is. He has no problem going into a bar or whatever and people recognizing who you are at that point in time. We want to take a moment to talk about this year's event, which will take place November 8th and 9th. You've moved locations.
Moved dates and locations.
Yeah. So
we had to.
Getting away from the Halloween theme in some respects, but you're still close enough to it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of prior obligations for people, especially like in our industry. There's other haunt shows and stuff that have been around for 20 plus years, so they're already like attached to that, and the vendors are busy getting Halloween orders ready for online orders or whatever it may be. So we pushed it back to allow more people to be able to come to it, and it just makes sense, and it seems to be working. So it's far enough away from Halloween that everybody's freed up from Halloween stuff, but it's not close enough to Thanksgiving that you're out of the spooky mood. And yeah, with that comes a bigger audience, and I'll tell you, we oversold the Elks last year for sure, so we had to move it to OUC. I'm a little bummed because the atmosphere at the Elks was so cool, and just it'll never ever be like that again. But it is what it is, growing pains, and I mean, getting a bigger spot, if that's like my complaint, then that's a good problem to have, I'd say.
The Elks present such an intimate setting.
Yeah.
You know, but now going up to UC, you've got room to spread. You can get more vendors.
Yep.
You've got a Battle of the Bands starting on Friday. What time is everything getting up and running?
So I believe that on Friday we're going to start somewhere around 2. I'm not sure when the first band will start playing, but I would say that it would be almost immediate. We're going to run those all day, and then we're going to end the Battle of the Bands with a headlining set by our buddies in Bather. They're the local band. They've been to every event that we've done that has music, so they're like the hometown heroes. So we gave them their own night, and then the next day we're going to start live music again, probably sometime around 5. Everything's subject to change. We're still working on stuff, so we're trying to figure it out as we go. We've definitely never gone all out with like the live music in a sense like we're doing this year. So we just noticed that last year the live music was everybody's favorite part. It was like the time that the vendors could relax and the patrons could relax and we could relax and just enjoy the show. So we kind of played into that a lot this year. And Chillicothe used to have proper Battle of the Bands at OUC, and we all missed that. So even the locals are like stoked about it.
Yeah, because you're going, what, 20, 30 years back
with
Battle of the Bands in that regard. So how many bands is that still subject to change?
I believe that we are between 12 and 15, depending. There's always like last minute emergencies where people have to change or cancel, but we've been very fortunate, and like anybody that has canceled, the spots have been filled immediately. So yeah, I would say about a dozen.
And when you go through bands, sometimes you lose a drummer, you lose a guitarist, or whichever the case may be.
Yep.
But this is an event that you won't want to miss, because if you like alternative rock music, you're going to hear it.
Yep.
You're going to feel it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're going to be a part of it for sure. Last year, I felt a lot of the people during the event. Hey, look, my business partner Bishop's here. He can't get in though because the door's locked. Anyways, that's the other half of Palefest, and we're just going to leave him outside for the remainder of this interview.
Perhaps our producer can walk over and open the door.
Oh yeah, it's whatever. Imagine if I was ever professional ever for once in my life. It just wouldn't be the same.
Precisely. Here's Bishop.
Hey, bud.
And now, maybe we can get Bishop on camera here in just a bit.
Yeah, I would love that.
How many people does it take to put this on? Because it has grown. It's gone from just this little intimate thing of you and just a couple of buddies, and now you've got people from all over the world coming to Chillicothe.
There's always like a core four. I would say me, Bishop, his wife, and then there's always like this one random shining star. So last year, I think we put a lot of it on the guy that actually did the art directive, Trash Bag Ghost. And I would honestly say this year it was the same thing. We got a new dude to do the art directive, somebody that we've been friends with for a long time. His name's Mark Nosler. And those are like the unsung heroes. Even though you're looking at their stuff, you're not really thinking like, man, I wonder who drew all this stuff or made the art and stuff. And they did so much more than just the art that we told them to do. They really, really go all out. So the core four that are like right at the top, and then we definitely have a group of 15 to 20 dudes that are like ride or die that we could count on for anything. So it's still very, very small, very intimate, and everybody plays their part, and then some. And it's really cool. It's really like family oriented in a sense of like those are my brothers, dude. Like they're really pulling it together. So yeah.
And even the vendors and going and visiting and shopping all the horror stuff that's available, that's family friendly as well.
Yeah, we keep everything family friendly. Like, I'm not into extremely like overly sexualized stuff. I think that's cringy. Obviously, I'm a very like sober individual, so we do our best to just make sure that there's no like over the top, weird non-family stuff, and that's why we do like kids under 12 get in for free. And yeah, I mean, we're all family guys. I don't have a family per se, but I'm very like, yeah.
This community is your family, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you've seen them out on Monday nights riding around with bikes and everything, that's the kind of stuff you like to do.
We really are a wholesome group. We don't feed into like the devil, satanic stuff. Again, like the sexual stuff, and definitely the big one for me is like drugs and alcohol. I want to keep that as far away as possible.
Yeah. You're kind of like on the cusp of all that. I mean, there's a dark side to all that, but you're on the entertainment side.
Yeah, it's like Alice Cooper, man.
Yeah,
he's a super Christian.
Exactly.
But he's like the scary cut my head off on stage guy. But it just works. It makes sense. None of that matters. Who cares? It's just fun.
Your following has continued to grow, has it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
You started out just having a few masks, and you started doing things on YouTube, showing people these masks. Have you pinched yourself? Because you've got hundreds of thousands of people that are watching now.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely reality checks here and there. It's mostly with like the things that I get to go do now. Like me and Bishop just got back from Iowa a couple weeks ago, where we stayed with a Slipknot member and shot content with a Slipknot member, and I actually got to perform at Slipknot's festival. And while it was happening, it was like, yeah, that's cool or whatever. But then we got home, and I was like, dude, what did we just do? That's our job. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's the amazing thing. This has turned into a paid gig for you.
Yeah, it's a really weird made-up thing, and I'm grateful every single day for it.
Yeah. Now, I know you're a tattoo artist, but what prior to this was your job?
That was it. Tattooing was it. Now I haven't tattooed in months. Like, this really, really took over, and I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, and now he's got friends, like I said, all over the world, and the fact that they're coming here makes it even cooler. That puts you into kind of like the shadow of the World Heritage inscription.
I don't know what that means, Dan. That sounds very wise, though. I'll take it.
I mean, but the Hopewell and the Bishop's laughing back.
Yeah, here we go. He makes fun of the way I look, and then he insults my intelligence. He's like, I'm going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem, and AJ's not going to know what's happening.
No, you're on the map, man. You're in with all this stuff that has been campaigning for 20 years to put together.
Yeah.
And finally, the inscription comes in, and you're in its footprint.
We're so scriptured. Again, imagine if I was ever professional. I'm sorry.
No, he is professional. I tell you, a business mind is what this kid has, and I can still call you a kid because you're 30 years younger than me. But outside of that, it's amazing what you've done with this.
Thank you.
How you've been blessed to just be so cool.
Yeah, I mean, the House of Masks stuff is one thing, but the Palefest stuff definitely would not exist without Bishop. He changed my whole concept of business and my attitude towards like just getting things done. And yeah, so I'm actually glad he's here. I do want to include him in this.
Yeah, so come on over here, Bishop. We got to get you in on camera so that people realize you're a real person. So
he's a figment of my imagination. I'm like, it's all Bishop, and he's like, who's he talking to?
I swear.
Yeah, he's sliding around the camera now, even as we speak. So we got room to get through there. There we go. So he is a real person.
I am here.
Yeah,
I'm a guy.
He's that guy.
I'm really a person. I'm here.
How cool has this been for you?
I was just telling somebody maybe 25 minutes ago that we all work really, really hard. There's no doubt in my mind that everybody's put blood, sweat, and tears into every inch of what's gone on and what's happened. But man, dude, I'll tell you, once we linked up, it just kind of did its own thing. Yeah. It was like this thing that I know made everything easier on both ends. It was something very special. And like he said, now it is weird because now everything is this family orientated thing where we're talking to each other, huge group chats of people all the way until 1, 2 in the morning, getting out little kinks of everything. And it's just a lot.
This little idea that just was, hey, let's do this thing, and then suddenly it snowballs.
He had a lot of faith in it because he moved from California to do this. He moved here from California to get this done, so.
Yeah. It was a weird thing. We were out in California, and I think there's just a different mindset when it comes to what this is out there. So like, we were doing great stuff out there, but it was kind of like looked at differently because we weren't in Miramax. Yeah. We weren't in a studio, and we weren't working for Paramount. And so it's like this thing where when we came out here, one of the first things we did together was Incarceration. Mm-hmm. We set up a booth at Incarceration, and I got to sit there for 3 days, and people walk up, hey, what do you guys do? Oh, my buddy runs a YouTube channel, over 180,000 subscribers. Oh, da, da, da. And then, oh, I make masks. We make them out of my basement. I take care of my family off of it. The response was different. It was, wow, that's success. Mm-hmm. That's cool. You guys get to do that, and you guys get to do it and take care of your people doing it. They wanted to support that, whereas it was harder to get that support in other places. And then, dude, like, it did turn into this thing. All of this is something AJ never wanted to open up. He still doesn't like opening it up. So when I got down here and I saw it, and I was like, dude, what are we doing? Like we have to do something. There has to be some way to get people in here to see it.
Because this just can't be your hobby.
No, this is everybody's hobby. So now we have to share it with everybody. And I think I was able to convince him for one day. He was like, one day out of the year, dude. And then that turned into the open house. He wanted to do the open house, and we did the open house. And then, dude, it just we realized like quickly, like there's a home for the people that want to be a part of this thing, and it is here for sure.
Yeah. Is there any place else like this in the world, do you think?
No, because there's layers of like what this place is. Like, it's the House of Masks, but it's also Chillicothe, and then it's also Ohio. And I'm telling you, like, we have people from the States, people come from Texas, people come from California, people come from wherever, but then there's people from New Zealand and the UK and Australia, and they all say the same thing. Like, it just has an aura, and the businesses that people get to go into, and the people that they get to meet here that you would never cross paths with under any other circumstance. It's crazy. So there is like the physical location of just the building and what's here and how everything's set up, and then there's the town itself and like the essence that it carries, and then the people that you meet in the town, and it's all very whatever the word for that would be. Yeah. Good.
It's
like this year.
AJ good.
Yeah. AJ good. Yeah. This year, for instance, we have like a whole table. It's called the Shop Local table, and it's just a table that you can walk up and get some of the best recommendations in town.
Oh, nice.
Just have our friends tell you about some of the coolest stuff that's happening, whatever. Here, this place does this place does that, this place. because it's more of a, it's turned into like, yeah, we integrated ourselves within like the fan base that had like things like this, but now it's crazy because it seems like there's some secondary integration with the locals as well.
Yeah.
And we love it, and we would like people to just love it as much as we do.
Yeah, and the locals, they finally say, hey, there's something big going on in Chillicothe.
I think they started realizing it when their businesses were benefiting. Like, they could see it, and outsider perspective, like, you don't really know what's going on. It's just like, oh, yeah, the mask guy's doing the mask thing or whatever. But all of a sudden, all of their Airbnbs were sold out that weekend. And all of a sudden, these restaurants and bars started getting, like, new patrons from out of town that would sit there and, like, love to talk about everything while spending their money at those businesses. So we definitely got our flowers after the open house thing. People were really stoked about it.
Yeah, the first time you sell out all the hotels and all that stuff, then everybody's like, oh, okay. We understand.
No.
You're doing the things that like the Southern Ohio Forest Rally is doing. You know, you're bringing people here, and it's noticed. And so that just changes everything for what you started just 3 years ago.
Yeah, whenever Chillicothe is proud of me, it means way more than like any amount of money I would make, or even people in the hobby that are like, man, that's so cool that you're doing that, because they already know, and like they got to kind of be a part of it too. So it was like this gradual thing that when Chillicothe, it's like an outside force, is like thankful and thinks that it's cool. I'm like, man, it's like being in the Gazette. Right? Like, it's not a big deal, and I've done it a million times, and I've been in way bigger publications and stuff, and there's still like that hometown pride about like, hey, I made it in the Gazette again. Yeah. I just think that's cool.
My boy's on the front page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell who he is, but
Mama, we
he's
made
got a mask
it.
on.
I'm gonna go buy 6 copies of that for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I love it. I have mine hung up. All of them.
Same, all of them.
Yeah.
In a frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
We
very
love
nice.
it. We love it.
Of course, this again is November 8th and 9th.
Yep.
Have you guys gone over the festivities?
We have,
Okay, perfect.
unless there's something you want to add.
We got the Battle of the Bands on the 8th. We've got just
After party after that.
the after party at 50 West. We've got the big convention day Saturday, which will also feature live music in the evening. We've got Sunday is a cool day because we are opening the spot up for everybody to come look at, but we're doing it with the first ever House of Masks yard sale. Obviously, I'm a hoarder. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've got some stuff to get rid of, and it's cool stuff that you're not going to find even, you know, at your Spirit Halloween or whatever. We've got just so much vintage masks and cool old collectibles and the good stuff that we're going to throw up for sale, and we're gonna make it cheap. We're not trying to like get rich. I just need the room. So House of Masks yard sale / open house day on Sunday, and whatever little fun stuff is sprinkled in on top of all that.
It's the only place downtown where you'll see an open casket.
With my corpse in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you come down and see it. Again, November 8th, 9th, and then Sunday is the yard sale. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Finally get to meet Bishop and, of course, AJ Good.
Yeah.
I'm Dan Ramey. Thanks for watching this edition of Literary Media Live.